Walker, KO, Walker, KO, Walker, KO.
Shit.
Bitch, tell me what it's Let's do it. Man, they think they can see us, man. He said so much about two shit, my niggas. They cannot see us. Well, see my phone, you understand, nigga. Zone City, whatever. Gucci,
What's going on? What's going on? Oh, okay, I definitely should sound way better. Once again, what's going on, everybody? I know it's been a little minute, but we are back. Apologies for Friday. I was supposed to do this Friday, but I had a busy weekend, a couple of things going on. But definitely appreciate everybody that's coming through, joining us live tonight. We are back, and we are doing our top 10 vampire movies. Of course, it being Halloween in October, we jump into the vampire genre as far as horror. And it's a couple of ones I want to get into as far as my top 10. I got a couple people that's coming through joining me tonight. What's going on, T-Virus?
Hello. Yep, can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. Definitely appreciate you coming through.
Yep, thank you for having me on. Yep.
No problem, no problem. Definitely be on the lookout. December, we got T-Virus making a big comeback.
Yep.
Definitely going to be looking forward to that. Oh, I was trying to move you up there. Nadia. What's going on, Nadia?
Yep, hello, Nadia. Yep.
She good. She picked. Been a little minute. Definitely appreciate you coming through. Once again, shout out to everybody coming through. I had my boy Anzo, aka Bigger Ford, in the chat. Shout out to Bigger
My
Ford.
bad. I was trying to get my headphones situated.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. What's
Hello,
going
how are
on, Tony?
y'all?
Got Tony in the building. How everybody feel as far as vampire movies, man? Is this one of y'all favorites as far as genres when it pertains to horror or werewolves or slashers? What's up? Come to the supernatural element.
Vampires are definitely my favorite.
I'm slasher
Uh,
person.
for me, it's I mean, I like the horror genre in general. So, um, ever since I was a kid, I've enjoyed vampires in terms of being introduced to Dracula, and I thought that was very fascinating, and kind of stuck with me ever since. So, I would just say I have a love for the genre as a whole, but vampires are definitely cool.
My bad. When you say Dracula, which Dracula was you talking about?
Oh, the original one by Bela Lugosi.
Oh, you talking about
Not
black and white?
Dracula, not
Yes.
Dracula 3000,
Man,
not 2000, 3000. The one
you
with
talking about
Coolio
Coolio. I know which one you
yeah, in
talking
outer space.
Oh yeah,
I'm a vampire.
I
The
saw
hell?
those.
Sci-Fi Channel. All right, we're gonna start with 10 through 6, and y'all more than welcome to give a little detail of why y'all picking this certain movie for whatever number or selection that you choosing it for. Yo, shout out to Tony. I seen a couple of those clips on Twitter, Tony. Damn, boy, you had me hungry looking at some of that food, man. And you said it looked like you had some of that top-notch goose, or did you
So
have some?
y'all,
What's up?
so y'all just refuse to call Twitter X.
Oh no, I'm not doing it.
Everybody does it though. Everybody does it.
Stop it, Bigger for it. That's not trash.
Yeah, I don't have Twitter or X or Y or Z. I don't have none of that.
Shout out to T-Virus. Said we excluded from the world as far as social media.
I got signed out of my Twitter and I was just like, I ain't signing back into this shit. I don't do nothing but go on there to watch the mayhem. I don't post shit. I don't follow nobody. I literally just go watch the mayhem and get my ass back off. So since I've signed out, I was just like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. It ain't that important to me. What you only get to see like 10,000 tweets a day because I ain't paying for shit.
Oh, they
But
gonna start.
you have to pay for X.
He's
Mm,
supposed to
to see
start.
more than 10,000 tweets or some bullshit like that.
Oh, huh.
And I think he's
Yeah.
traditionally gonna start. And you having to pay like $1 or something.
Everything's gonna be running to subscription based. Period.
Uh,
That's the lane they on now. But
don't ever do Tubi like that with us. They made a promise on Tubi that it's always supposed to be free. But anyway,
Mm.
man, we got to get into. Which one want to go first? Who want to start with a 10 through 6? And like I said, y'all can go into detail of why y'all choosing it if y'all want to. Y'all don't have to, but you can if you want to.
I'll start. I'm glad we stick in the movies, right? Because if we
Yeah,
not, Midnight Mass is murdering everybody. But no, I really like
top
vampire
10 vampire
series.
movies.
I know. All right, so number 10, Vampire Hunter D. It is an anime. It's an old anime, like 90s. That
You
ain't
said what
old to
now?
me, but it's an anime. It's
What it's called?
animated. Vampire Hunter D.
Okay.
Yep, I know what that is. Yep.
Number 9, Interview with the Vampire. I low key kind of find this movie boring, but like, I mean, I don't ask. The first time I watched it, I was like, "Yo, this is kind of boring," but like, I do like the vampire lore and aspect of it, and Kirsten Dunst is a vampiric
Yeah.
child, and she be mad about the dolls and shit. The shit was funny as hell.
What? I
Um,
can't age? What the
yeah.
that little girl?
You give me a doll every year. She was pissed about that damn doll. Anyway, number 8, Blood Red Sky. It's a Netflix vampire
Oh, okay.
movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Um,
I seen that. That's a good one.
yeah, I like the whole like it being like a disease or like it was another vampire series I watched on Netflix. I can't. I think it was just called like Vampires or something. It was French and it was dubbed over. But
Mm.
uh, that one was good. And in that one, it was more like it was in their DNA more so than it was like something that you could pass to someone else.
So
Like you had to be born a vampire. But anyway,
it was like an
um,
evolutionary thing.
yeah. Um, number 7, Let the Right One In. Number 6, Underworld. That's it. Yeah. Stop at 6 because I was about to keep going.
What you say number 7 was? Oh shit, what happened?
Am I cutting out?
You
No, I
did
could.
for a minute, but you good now. Oh.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did pop out. What the hell? I don't know. But yeah,
What you say your number 7 was?
Let the Right One In, and number 6 is Underworld.
The original one. I got you. And you said number
I ain't
6 was
seen.
Underworld.
Yeah, I ain't seen all of them.
You ain't seen all the Underworlds?
No, that's just something I just ain't dedicated my time to. But
I'll probably say the last, probably the weakest one. They pretty straight
it's
though. They
it's
ain't
the
even. They
CGI.
boring.
It's the more intense CGI likings that I couldn't stand. It was just like, what the fuck? Why?
The last movie was so bad that I had to see a therapist for a year straight.
You talking about Blood Wars? I think I know what you talking
Yes,
about.
it was a war on my life because I was struggling to maintain it.
Tony, what site is that on?
Oh, I want to see that one, Tony. I
Where
ain't
that
even gonna front. I want
streaming?
to
Where's that streaming?
see that. Right, that must be on X video. On Paul. You have to go watch that, Tony. Send that link, Tony. But yeah, what's up, T Virus? What you got? 10.
Okay, number 10, I have 30 Days of Night. Um,
At number 10.
hmm
Okay, yeah.
So, so
Go ahead.
the tone in combination with the color palette makes the film stand out, and the vampires, they have a very sinister look to them, which I can appreciate. When you see off the bat that they're not the ones that are going to romanticize anything. They're gonna rip your
Facts.
throat out. They're gonna play with your
Yep.
entrails. They
Yep.
might tell you a story, from 50 years ago while they ripping out your tongue, stuff like that. So I appreciated that, and just the overall brutal fashion of the vampires. I like that, and just the concept of no sun for 30 days was really terrifying because in a lot of these stories that are vampire based, you have human characters that are like, we're gonna be fine. We just gotta wait till the sun come up. We got a couple
Mm-hmm.
hours left. It's gonna be good. But then it's just like, wait, what you mean the sun not gonna come up? So we just got like 24 hours and we'll be good, right? They're like, no, we got a whole month.
Month.
Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is end my own life because they're just really powerful at night, and the fact that the sun just doesn't matter at all for a whole month, that's not good. So that
Hey,
that kind of stuck out to me.
this bring me to my thing then the deal. T virus. Would you have took your family out?
Hmm.
You got
Now, so be go into more detail. Like, what are
in the
the
movie
circumstances?
when old buddy the sheriff partner take
Right,
his
right,
family out because he didn't want them to, suffer from the vampires or whatever what they was doing to everybody else.
right.
You do that under them circumstances.
Oh yeah. See, I feel like I would have a quick conversation. I'd be like, look, we're family. Family's supposed to look out for one another. I'd start snapping necks. Sparing pain, and then I'll snap my own neck after that. Gotta make sure. Gotta
We're
look
gonna
out
make
for the
it
family.
quick. We gotta make it quick, man.
I would ask my family what they would want to do. This would be a collective decision. I'm not making the decision for you. It's like do you want to get taken out? Do you want to fight or do you want to join them? Cause shit, the 30 days a night. If we dealing with 30 days a night, we might need to negotiate. Hey, can I join the vampire clique? Like,
Oh, you
Yeah,
say you
but
want to join?
I would
yeah,
be.
we
I
negotiate.
mean, in another scenario, I'd be like, I wouldn't be like similar to the
Yeah,
guy in the cell, but like I'd be like, yeah, if y'all humans are done,
what's going on, Samuel Stokes?
like yeah, if y'all not gonna make it today, yeah, that's in another scenario. But if it's like me with the family, I feel like I would give them a limited amount of time. I give them 60 seconds to make a choice, and then if they don't say nothing, I gotta make it for them because I'm not trying to hear "Help me! Oh, I love you!" and just screaming at the top of their lung. I'm like, I'm not trying to hear all that. I'm trying to make this as fast as possible.
I get it because you know that scene where the little girl is walking and they're using her as bait. I get
Hmm.
it. I get it. So it's hard to argue with it. All right, what's
Right,
up
right.
with your number 9?
Number 9, I have From Dusk Till Dawn. I like how
Good ones low. You do got some good ones low.
hmm yeah, there's a lot because I've seen so many movies, so I just
I
try to
got you.
place them where I can. So I like how it starts off as this entertaining heist movie with these very intriguing characters with just this brilliantly written dialogue by Quentin Tarantino, and you're like, oh, okay, like I'm cool with this. I was fine for it, and then halfway through, you end up with a bunch of vampire strippers. You know what I mean? And
Have you seen? Did
it
you
just
ever see the trailer before you had seen the movie?
no.
I didn't
My
either. That's why I wanted to
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So
no,
it
my
was,
cousins showed it to me, and I was just like, oh, they're like, it's a horror movie. I'm like, okay, and I was watching it, and I was like, well, I mean, I don't get scared of anything, but I was kind of waiting for the horror aspects. I was like, but I was kind of confused, but I was enjoying the heist aspect of it that I just kind of didn't care. And then once that happened, they get to the strip joint, then it was just like, oh shit. And just the fact that each vampire looked different, just the attention to detail, I really appreciated that. I'm like,
yep.
wow, they all have like different faces and they
Because
looked
these weren't no
horrific.
sexy vampires either.
You know
None
what? Like
They look like
when
snakes.
they right, like when they looked human, right? They looked attractive, but once they went, full vampire, I like how they just looked terrible, evil, and it just there's no mistaking. You're not gonna be like, is that a vampire or something supernatural? You see him and you know what's up. You're like, yeah, that shit ain't normal. It's time to kill him or it's time to leave. You got about 5 seconds to decide,
the
right?
thing
So
though
I
is
like that.
if you never watched that trailer, and like I said, from my experience watching that movie, it was the whole thing of getting caught up with them kidnapping the family. And I'm like, oh, so this shit about to, this what we doing. We got them kidnapping the family. Quentin Tarantino's character obsessing over the little girl as far as the daughter. I'm like, what the, man, come on, man. And then, like you said, we get to the club, everything switch up. We're like, what the, hold up. We dealing with vampire. I didn't know what's going on. And I watched this when I was younger. I didn't see no trailers or nothing. So this took me way off guard.
it took me off guard because I was hypnotized by Salma Hayek. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I don't care nothing about no horror no more. Just keep it on her, and it's all good. And when she changed and stuff, it was like my heart dropped. It's like I felt betrayed. I was like, how's she gonna be that evil like that? No.
The transformation is done. Like everybody start looking ugly and crazy and looking like really creatures of the night. I'm good. I don't want to
right.
do that.
Yep. I mean, that's, to me, I'll never forget it just because of like I said, the transition just really threw me off. But it was perfectly executed though.
Yep.
So.
I like what you said too about Quentin Tarantino because he wrote the film and his dialogue always.
Yeah. Always entertaining and unique. Just the way that the characters talk. You're like, that's awesome. I can be fine with this for the 2 hours, even though we were waiting for the horror. So, yeah.
I wouldn't wait because I didn't know. And when you bring up the fact of him in the dialogue, it makes me think of a movie called The Hateful Eight, which is a majority of dialogue. But I'm sitting there, I watched it because I could just listen to these talk.
Right, because like, even though I didn't see the trailer, it's just my cousins told me like it's a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
And it just, but I was just like, I was confused, right? So that's what's going on with my experience.
What you got number 8?
Number 8, I have Fright Night 1985.
Oh yes, there we go.
Right, so
you got some good ones. Whoa.
Oh, hey, when you're doing the ranking, it's hard, for me to put them in any particular order because the way I see it is like if they're on my ranking, it means I like them, and the order could be subject to change, so to speak. But
what's going on, Samantha Jackson? Appreciate you coming through.
I just the whole concept of having a main character, teenage character that's into horror films, and then to actually have to deal with the vampire. I felt was very unique, and it did throw me off when I was watching it because I felt like, the main character. I was like, yeah, that's me into horror films and stuff, going to school, kind of, the odd man out, just kind of seeing where you fit. And then the scene transition is Jerry Dandridge just, living next door. And he's not only a vampire, but his assistant is a ghoul. And I was like, this is like cool, but scary at the same time because knowing me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna avoid him. But at the same time, I'm like, so could you like turn me? Because I'm having some trouble at school. I feel like if I had vampiric powers, I could deal with the bullies a certain way, rip out a couple throats here and there. So aside from the story being good, I was just sort of picturing myself of what I would do in those scenarios, which really added to the overall film.
All of that's cool. And I'm with everything you saying, but just don't give me a best friend named Evil. I'm good. My best friend can't be named Evil. Like even if I want to turn into a vampire, I don't call my best friend Evil. And you see how that turned up.
Yeah, we did, and I liked him too. He was cool, but man, when he changed, it was like that makes sense.
He was still the same goofy nigga. He just had
right.
abilities now.
But it was like when he changed, it was like not only was he himself, but he was 100% evil, right? And it's like you couple that with all the knowledge that he had. I'm like, that's a very dangerous character, with when you have supernatural powers mixed with intellect. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So
my girl Samantha Jackson said Dracula #1, Bram Stoker's, my bad. I hear you, Tony. You about to say we gotta all appreciate Salma Hayek.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What you got at number 7?
Number 7, I have the first Blade movie.
Oh my gosh. I gotta see what you got at this top 5, man. You being a little disrespectful. Hey, that's a
So
classic line, Samuel Stokes from Fright Night.
right. But bear in mind, like I love all these movies about the same though. So I just want to throw that out there, you know. So with Blade,
No, Anzo, I don't know.
like with Blade, even though it's a comic book film, right? It is the first successful live action Marvel film.
Yeah,
But
I didn't know
aside
that at
from
the
that,
time either.
right, like with me, my cousins, they got me into comics and stuff. So they're the ones that, you know, made me aware of that detail. And then also when you watch the movie on the right hand side in the upper hand corner, you got the red lettering and it says based on the Marvel character. So, you know, my cousins were the ones that got me to actually read the credits and stuff because I noticed that a lot of humans don't do that. And I'm like, it kind of blew my mind because I'm like, how would you know, when your favorite director's coming on or, you know, how to
See,
look for stuff, you know?
I ain't paying no mind to that stuff back then. The only credits I was reading was off CD cases. I was reading them who producing, who helped write this, and that
Same.
Jay
I used
Z,
to read
Life
them
I
Time
got
them
you. I
CD
Baby.
got you.
books. I used to read them front to back. Same. Same.
But there,
I don't care if
there,
it's wintertime, roll your windows down and just go.
there, there were just things that I noticed, like, you know, the fact that they brought the badassery to the vampire. Like, it was just 100% badass. And not only did it remind me of the Blade comic books that I was introduced to, it was actually better. Like Wesley Snipes is better than the actual character that he's playing, which I
Because he
found to be
actually
fascinating.
fight. You know, he actually had
Right,
those set of skills, and it's like this is a perfect combination. And he a good actor.
right. He like see with Wesley Snipes, right? Before I continue with that, is that you know he's a very good actor who knows martial arts, and it's just at the time, you know, he was doing a lot of different films, and occasionally you'll see him, you know, do martial arts, like in say like Money Train, for example. You know, he had a couple fight scenes. You're like, oh, like either they like trained him really well, or this dude can fight. And then Blade just, you know, blew that door off the hinges. But you know, aside from the badassery brought to the vampire films, it was the way that the vampires perished. It looked like a cigarette being lit up when they would get killed, right? So that was one of the things that I noticed and I appreciate. I was like, man, like these vampires are dying very violent deaths. Like it looked painful. Like
And
their
it's the
deaths look
90s too.
so painful. Yep. Yep. Their deaths look so painful that I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to be a vampire if it means that Blade gonna find me on a Tuesday night. I'd be like, I'm sorry, Blade. Like, I'm different. I'm not built like the rest. I'm trying to be good like you. He's still gonna kill me anyway because I got you know the fangs and stuff. But I
I was just
appreciate
trying to
just that.
enjoy the vampire rays at the beginning.
Right, right. And that's another thing too.
Is it
The
mad if I tried
opening
to freestyle out
sequence.
that a long time ago when I was young? No, just
That that's another thing too. Like the opening sequence, right? That do
yeah.
like you know that music that was playing. I was like, that shit was fire. And it really just set up a whole tone. I was like, is this? I was like, this a Marvel movie? Like I was just like, what the hell is this? And then the vampires, just like I view it more as a vampire film than a comic book film, but it's just it blended all that stuff so well. The villain Frost, like everything about that movie I enjoyed, so I had to include it on the list.
Fact. It's just low, but I got you. I
The
got you.
CGI did not hold up, but yes, it's still a good
That's
movie.
You
nah,
know
that
what?
CGI hold up for me. That's 90s.
Yeah,
Probably.
I have no issue with the CGI because at the time, like number one, it was made in 1998, and then number two,
Hmm.
the
I
budget
give it
for that
that.
movie was not that high because you're talking about you had like many decades of live action Marvel failure, so nobody had faith in that to work at all. It was just
And you
like
talking about that's New Line Cinema. That was just New
exactly.
Line Cinema.
They New Line Cinema was like, we doing comic book stuff. Okay, let's have a certain tone. Like let's what this Blade character, there's vampires, humans like vampires. They like action movies and fighting. Let's try to make a really competent movie first, and then it being based on a comic book character comes completely secondary. So yeah.
What you got number 6?
Number six, I have Let the Right One In. Uh,
I feel y'all on the original.
Yeah, yeah. So the with this one,
Y'all gonna be
I
mad
would
at me.
definitely say that it's one of the best vampire films I've ever seen in my life. And I also think it's one of the best horror movies ever made because when you think about like what horror movies are, there's a lot of flashiness, there's a lot of gore, and there's certain expectations. But, I come from a background of writing and, understanding what it means to tell a compelling story. And that's what I look for most beyond the idea of gore and all these things that, will get an audience to cheer. I'm like, how can you get me to care about your project outside of that? So, the little boy, Oscar, our main character, we see that he was getting bullied. And, again, with me, I was bullied. So I was already on Oscar's side, right? And then he's introduced to this little girl who we find out is a vampire. I was like, oh shit, that's interesting. A vampire that's a child, and both of these characters are lonely, and they just sort of, get attached to each other, and it's very tragic and heartbreaking, but at the same time, kind of sweet because these two lonely souls, if you will, found one another, but it's just under very violent, unfortunate circumstances, which is why I
We
use
have
the
seen
word
a lot
tragic.
of horror movies take that idea and go with it too after that
Right,
movie, especially the
right,
original.
exactly. So, for
Samuel
all
Stokes
that
and
and
Ghost
more,
Boys and
I
the boys.
just
I hear you, Samuel Stokes.
right. So, for all that and more, I had to include it. It's just a very compelling film. And, for humans that don't watch a lot of horror movies, there's this whole stigma about them, and they're just like, oh, they're all bad, or, they don't have good writing. Let the Right One In would be a film that I would put on for someone that has that sort of attitude towards them. You gotta show them that there is something within there that does have really good storytelling, that does have something that's compelling. So yeah,
Hey, the bullies were more of a villain than the vampire was. Cause I
that
was
is
like,
that
fuck
is
them kids.
that is true. And actually, in I was in 11th grade in high school when I was in my film class, and I told that to the teacher because that teacher was all about putting on movies that everyone doesn't watch. He was against like Hollywood blockbusters. He was putting on stuff like Let the Right One In, A Clockwork Orange, and films like that.
Hold on, y'all
And
watched the Clockwork on this what
yeah,
I said, what
this
because
grade
high
was this?
school?
yeah, this high school, 11th grade, like before you take the film class, your parents have to sign the permission slip,
Bruh, a
because
clock damn.
everything we watched was R rated, and a lot of it was foreign films on top of that. So yeah, I had to get the parents to
Bruh.
sign it. But my parents weren't even surprised by that because as a child I was watching horror movies. So to them it was nothing new. They were just
Same.
not so much surprised that I was watching them as much as it was like, wait, the teachers can show this? And I'm like, under this circumstance, yes, because it is a film class.
I haven't seen the
So
original
Mm.
one, but they definitely seem like those Stephen King type bullies as
but
far
yeah,
as like
like
Well, yeah, they were. They
yeah, they were
they
terrible.
were menacing.
And
I
that's
was
what I
like,
told my teacher. Like, they're terrible. They're horrible characters. Just like you said, Nadia, like they were
we got the
worse than
original one.
the vampire. And I told
yeah,
that, and
she
I was
was just
just
trying
like,
to eat and live. Like
right,
the way
mm-hmm,
she was portrayed, it was like she was just trying to eat and stay alive. They was
right.
just like being mean to him for no fucking reason. No
It,
fucking reason at all.
exactly, Nadia. High
Yeah,
five. That's pretty much what I was saying. I was like, these humans are trash. I was like, there's nothing worse than a human. Now, when I said that, they was all looking at me funny, but I was like, think about it. This little girl who's a vampire, if she doesn't feed and stuff, she dies. These humans have a choice, and they made the choice to be horrible human beings just because. And that boy Oscar did nothing to them. He was just different and awkward, but that
Existing.
doesn't mean you should
Yes.
bully someone and terrorize them because they're different. It's not right.
yeah. I'm gonna have to check out the original one. I only seen the remake. Shout out to Samuel Stokes, Anzo, and Shamonda Jackson.
Oh, the
Yes, he,
remake was good too, but I like the original much
I
more.
like the original better.
Yeah, me too, me too. But it's just in terms of it being like Let Me In, right? The one with Chloe Grace Moretz, like
Hmm.
for it being an American remake, because usually Americans they be fucking shit up. I gotta be honest, but that one is a very
I feel like they
competent
did
remake.
good with the ring.
Oh nah,
You like, ah, it ain't
It
better.
was
You like it ain't better
you
than the
know,
original. I feel like they
right.
did all right. I was captivated,
they
but
did, but
also
they
I
started
went
messing
into
shit
it
up with
not
them
knowing.
sequels.
Well,
Right.
I did
Yeah,
the
it
I
was
went into the
okay.
ring
It was alright.
blind, so I didn't know what I was getting into.
You
So
you know you know Nadia, like I feel like that's an interesting point because to me, I feel like with the remake, there are certain visuals that are captivating, but I feel like the original had the better, more concentrated storytelling. As to where the American one, I feel like it wholly relied on the visual aspects and it missed what made the original film great to begin with.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the original. Have to get it a shot. I might try to do a little review on it before Halloween. No. All right. Coming in at my number 10, I have Daybreakers. This is a kind of, I feel like an original story, something I hadn't seen really before, as far as this whole aspect of everybody is a vampire. Like the
Right,
normal world, everybody is a vampire. And then we had this whole aspect of somebody who's trying to go back to being a human, not wanting to be a vampire. And
right,
the way Daybreakers is depicted is you would probably want to be a vampire. Is the way this
right,
shit is going and turning into something that you didn't want to be, as far as this creature or whatever that you end up turning into if you don't get enough blood or whatever, or if you don't feed right.
right.
So yeah, I gotta put Daybreakers as my number 10.
Shit!
All right, I was trying to show this clip. Did y'all see this?
yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
Oh,
I did.
Shit!
You muted or something.
Oh, oh. A
Technical
vampire
difficulty.
got him. A vampire got him, Nadia. Yeah.
Oh god. I struggled with Daybreakers. I wanted to put it on my list, but I don't know. I didn't want to take anything else off. But I do like the movie. It
Yeah.
does have a lot. It was very creative take on vampires.
Yeah, it's
apologies.
oh yeah, yeah, no worries. But yeah, it's very ambitious. I can appreciate it, but like I said, like there are so many vampire films that there's gonna be many that don't make the list. You got to just juggle them out.
Yeah, it was more than I thought it was.
Coming in my number 9, I got the remake Let Me In, and this wasn't on purpose. I didn't know y'all had what y'all had as far as Let the Right One In, but just so happened I got the remake, and I really enjoyed this, man. Once again,
Yeah.
it's that
Yeah.
development relationship between the little boy who's getting bullied constantly. Not only that, the relationship he got with his mama, and the fact that we getting this other relationship between this young girl as a vampire and her caretaker, who's doing anything he got to do to make sure she's fed or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that ending for me is what like
Get deep breath. I said shut up!
Amen.
Like I
Amen. I
said,
was
fucking
clapping my ass
kids.
off. Yep. I was like, that's what they get. I was happy as hell.
man, I did not see that coming. I knew something was about to happen, but I didn't see her going like goddamn fatality on everybody. Body
Now
parts
you really
swinging
got to
all over
watch
the
the
place.
original.
Yeah, I do. Hold on, the original working in it as
Let
far as
let's
the
just
ending.
say that you let's just say you got to watch the original because trust me.
Okay, coming in at my number 8, I got Vampire in Brooklyn.
Not vampire in
Uh,
Brooklyn.
yes, man. This
That
was a
movie's
great
cool. Yep.
blend of, I feel like a little bit of horror, but more so comedy, and it's
I'm about to say
funny.
horror
Like
comedy.
not on no
Yeah.
like yes, not cheesy comedy, like cheesy funny, but it was funny. But you gotta remember this
Not
is the
like
'90s,
Daybreakers.
and shout out
I
to my
mean
boy
day
from
shift.
Oh
Night
hell
Shift,
no!
they
Please
sent
don't
it.
mention
Yo, what's wrong with Night Shift? Yeah, that movie was cool.
that. You talking about with Jamie Foxx? That shit was trash, man.
Yes.
That was trash.
No, that shit.
I'm
Look.
sorry.
Let me say this about Night Shift. That opening sequence, I guarantee you that whenever the MCU does Blade, there will not be a single fight scene that's as good as that opening sequence in Night Shift. Watch.
With all that being said, it ain't got shit on this opening sequence with Vampire in Brooklyn. Rest in peace to John Witherspoon coming through the flip floppity. Like what? That opening scene alone just fun.
Oh, yeah.
But not only that,
There's a lot of
just
stuff. Yeah.
for me, it was once again with younger watching this, it was getting a different side from Eddie Murphy because I hadn't really seen him playing no horror movie before. And once again, for me, it's always something with the eyes. When you do something with your contacts in these movies, Tales from the Hood did it. It was the eyes, and that shit used to mess with me. And I'm like, damn, Eddie Murphy look goddamn scary. Even if he did that laugh, that shit would have probably scared the hell out of me with him having these eyes in and these vampire teeth. But y'all let
you
me know as far as
so
Vampire
you
Brooklyn coming in there.
would you say that he looked scary? Because like with me, right? Like when I saw him as a kid,
I'm talking about
I
back
just thought
then,
he
not
had
now.
right. Well, it's just like for me, I thought he looked really cool. I was like, you have the slick back hair and the trench coat and everything. I was like, that's a cool
Yep.
ass vampire right there.
And he had kind of a very brutal opening scene.
Come on. Hey, he's no fun. He fell right over.
Some fucking wackos in this town.
Let's get back. You have quite decent aim, though. But next time.
Put a little heart into it.
What was the accent?
You
Was he?
that's yeah. The movie I feel is more. It has what I call
90s.
moments. It has more moments in it than the overall movie being good. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What you talking about? Lou? Yeah. Vampire in Brooklyn, a classic, man. What I got coming in my number? Trash. Which one you talking about? Trash, or what you talking about before that? I'll get to
I
you
think
later.
he was.
Shout out to Bigger Four. Number 7 world. This is definitely one of my favorites as far as the whole vampire versus werewolf aspect. Man, I feel like they had a kind of compelling concept of what they tried to bring with it, making Selena the main character as far as the vampire we started following. But not only that, trying to kind of dive deep into the story as far as the whole the werewolf aspect, as far as the whole betrayal with Selena and her family. If y'all have seen the movie, you know what goes down with Victor coming back and what he did to her
Mhm.
family and all of that. So yeah, and then the whole thing with the werewolves or whatever. But yeah, that was one of my favorites too. Y'all like Underworld?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I wish they switched up the color. The color grade.
I,
I
I I
don't know,
like the
man. It's
color.
like
I like the color grade. It's the whole tone. Like it's
I get.
interesting because when what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence, when she was trying to claim that she was like the first female action star, I thought that was ridiculous. One of the first ones I thought of was Underworld. I'm like, how are we forgetting about these awesome female characters that were kicking ass and stuff? I'm like, it's weird to me when these Hollywood types do that. But yeah, I love Underworld.
Uh, what's my girl name that plays Selena?
Ooh, Kate Beckinsale, I
I
believe her
can't think
name
of her
is.
name. Yeah,
Kate
yeah.
Beckinsale.
So yeah, she definitely need to be up there as far as like the women in action films. Top notch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, no, that shit is trash, man. That Jamie Foxx vampire movie is trash. Vampire in Brooklyn is way steps ahead of that shit. They ain't even got good action scenes in Vampire in Brooklyn. It's still better than that.
you 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 know what? The action scenes in Night Shift alone, like blow out Vampire in Brooklyn. It's just no. No.
I give y'all one better. I go watch Twilight Breaking Down Part 2 and watch the end where they had a big action scene. How about this?
The ending, okay.
What?
I saw all the Twilights in theaters. Now they all trash, but they're entertaining. But if the
I
whole
did too.
franchise would
Not
have
at the
been
end.
like the
At the
ending,
end.
if the whole franchise would have been like the ending of the Breaking Dawn Part 2, then it'd be a different discussion if they was getting down like that the whole time.
Why?
What'd you say?
Why is that? Nobody said.
Wait, can you hear me?
Did you hear what he
Yeah, I can hear
said?
you now.
Oh
No,
goodness.
Wait. Oh, you didn't hear me.
I was gonna say hell no way. What you say, man?
Wait, you can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I said, what you say?
Oh no, I was saying that
Yes, I think
if the
Twilight was
whole
better than
Twilight franchise
Jamie Foxx.
would have been if it would have been like the ending of Breaking Dawn Part 2, then it would have been a whole other story.
Okay,
Yeah,
somewhat, but they did the
it's the
fake out.
books they
But
were
yeah,
based
I
off
guess so.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, that fake out was terrible.
I
It was
ain't.
no, no.
I go read Harry Potter again before I
I
touch
was
those.
mad about the CGI
But
child. Why? Why was the child CGI?
Because the way that the character is in the books, apparently, like you can't do a child like that. You got to use CGI.
It was annoying. Why? It was
I
just
mean,
so much
I ain't
I was
read the
just
books.
like,
I tried to read the first one, but I threw it in the
I did
trash.
no,
yeah, I
I
haven't either.
can't.
Nope.
Yeah, but
I don't
I
want
threw it in
to.
the
Coming into
It
my
trash.
was
It
number
was
not.
bad.
It was
six.
not written. It was not written for us. We were not the target demographic for
No,
it.
absolutely not.
I got Interview with a Vampire, the original. Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise,
The original.
Lestat. Shout out to the version that we got with my girl Aaliyah. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. I do like that
This
one,
was
Queen of the
also
Damned.
based off a
I know
book.
that's supposed to be a part of the whole Vampire Chronicles. Yep.
It
Wait,
was.
you talking about Queen of the
But this,
Damned?
Yes, it was supposed to be a
yeah,
continuation of this.
That movie was terrible, but shout out to Aaliyah though.
I like
Right.
that
They
movie. I don't know.
tried.
It's a guilty pleasure for me. It's got some bad, little CGI fast moments with them doing their little speed things or whatever shit they was doing with the vampire powers. But anyway, Interview with a Vampire, I really enjoy this. It's almost like a biopic for a vampire. You know what I'm saying? Like having the
Yeah.
whole
Mm,
aspect of Brad Pitt's character going through basically his lifetimes of experiences as a vampire through different
right.
millenniums and goddamn being stalked by Lestat and dealing with my girl Kristen Dunst's character. With her pretty much gotta stay a little girl forever. And her getting pissed off every moment, cutting her hair, coming in there stalk, and the shit growing back out.
Yep.
She was a little murdering sucker at the beginning, boy. But yeah,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
I like the ending too because I thought Tom Cruise was gone. A lot of the stat was out of here. Like him
Right.
popping up at the end, and basically I was ready to hear his story. I'm like, okay, well, we about to get some more. Let's go. I'll go through.
That's what
Yeah,
I
I like.
thought. Then we got Queen of the Damned. No.
I wasn't bored with this. Shout out to you today. I know what you said. I wasn't bored with this. I was entertained, man. It was almost like getting another version with watching the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, except he wasn't a vampire. But yeah,
Mm, interesting comparison.
I wasn't doing that on purpose. Shout out to my girl Taraji P. Henson. But yeah, I mean, when she said she got paid for that, but I get it, the whole working aspect of that. And if it wasn't for that world role, maybe she wouldn't have been in Empire and stuff. So hey, what's going on, Robert Phillips? Who you talking about? Interview with a Vampire? I hope not. Or you might be talking about Queen of the Dam if you're talking about Aaliyah.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Aaliyah. Yeah, she died way too soon.
It's a guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure. All right, we can get to our number fives now. We can start back with you, Nadia, if you want to go first. Top fives now. Top 10 vampire movies.
Number 5 from Dusk to Dawn. Till is it Till or two? Two? Two. Till. Damn it. It's right there in front of my face.
Oh,
Yes.
you scared me for a moment. I thought you were saying from Dust to Dawn 2. I was like, huh?
No.
Oh God,
No,
no, no, none of the
no,
sequels.
no. I'm about to say
I
anything we
was like,
say on
woo!
here, no sequels. No.
All
I
original
mean,
movies.
the only movie that probably got good sequels is Underworld. Other than that, like every one of these bad sequels. Um, Number 4, Afflicted. It's a Canadian film. They treat like it's also found footage, and I know a lot of people don't like found footage, but I don't know.
When you
They
say
treat it
found
like found.
footage, like how do you mean? Like
What you mean?
like when you say found footage, you're talking about like they show real humans with real vampires, or like what are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. It's they treat it like it's a virus, like he catches a virus.
Okay, okay.
So like being a vampire is more so like it's like catching a virus more so than like just regular being ways of
So it's
becoming
more
a
of a
vampire.
virus than something that's supernatural.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I got you.
Um, Number 3, The Lost Boys. Uh, Number 2, Blade, and number 1, 30 Days of Night. Just because they was just so menacing and smart, and it was just so many things good about the vampires. But if I still love Midnight Mass, but I know that ain't got nothing to do with movies.
Nadia,
TV show.
did you read the 30 Days of Nights comics?
Nah,
I read those recently, and the movie is 95% accurate to those comics.
dang.
My apologies. I
They
need
took their
5 and 4
time.
from you, Nadia.
You didn't hear them?
Yeah, 5 and 4. My bad.
5 is From Dusk Till Dawn, and
Okay.
4 is Afflicted.
What's afflicted?
It's a Canadian film, found footage.
Okay.
I mean,
I got you, Robert Phillips. He said Aaliyah. Okay. Is this
I
your top
heard that
5?
Dracula Untold is one of the better Draculas.
Is that the action one? If I'm not mistaken.
Dracula Untold has good action, but the storytelling is not good. It's horrible.
I about to say yeah. It ain't. I like. This is pretty decent top 5, Robert Phillips. Okay. I was gonna say no. Yeah, I gotta check the Let the Right One In. Everybody's saying that. Y'all
Yes,
talking about it on here. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
I am telling you, as someone that has seen countless horror movies, that is one of the best I've seen. Period.
Might watch it tonight. Bigger Four said Lost Boys #1. All right, what did he say? 30 Days of Night #2, and she's got to do it #1.
I think she said number one. She had 30 Days of Night, and then I was asking her if she read the comics because there's three comic books, and I had read those recently when I was thinking about the vampire stuff because I've been doing more consistent reading of comic books and graphic novels like how I used to do when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I figured, let me jump on that. So I read it, and now I can say that the movie is 95% accurate to those comics. I think the comics are a little better, but not by much. You're talking about they're almost neck and neck. I think that with the movie, um, the visual style of it is better than what you get in the comics, even though if you pull up the comics, you can see completely where they got it from. I just think the translation of it is better. But the art style in the 30 Days of Night comics, it looks it looks very unique. Like as someone that has read a lot of comics and stuff, I haven't really seen too many art styles in the way of 30 Days of Night.
Damn mute. My bad, my mic must have got muted. I'm about to sit here and start talking. But watching 30 Days a Night, and if I want to go check out those images on the line, if I can, as far as the whole 30 Days a Night comic images, just do that comparison as far as the movie, because watching that movie, you can tell, being it based off a comic, that they definitely went for all out as far as just taking as much as they could from the comics and making it come to
Right,
life as far as the movie.
right.
That fighting,
There's very mm-hmm. There's very few differences, right? Like it's one of those things where I feel like you could end up appreciating the movie even more if you read the comics. Because now I like the movie even more, and I liked it before I read the comics. I was like, man, this is what you call a respectful adaptation. Like you could tell, you know what I mean? So I like that.
not just that though, just the vampire aspect though. Because I don't think when that movie came out, we hadn't had vampires like that in a minute. Aside from the
Yeah,
whole sexy aspect, and
right. You're right, because
that's
before that
bad, my bad.
before that you had like Blade and Underworld, right? So, but aside from that,
Yep.
we didn't really have too many vampire films like that. In fact, in terms of that concept, is very unique in itself. You just tell somebody that, and they'll be like, oh, what vampire film is that? I got to check it out, just off of that premise alone.
And even with Blade and Underwear though, they were still kind of like swaggy. Like they kind of was smooth. They were kind of like pretty. They wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, the way they looked on 30 Days a Night.
Right,
They
where
wasn't as
their
vicious
eyes
as
were all
them. Outside
black
of
and
what
the teeth, yeah, hmm
the nail, even all of it.
yeah, the
But
long nails and stuff.
Vampires
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
good one.
you're right.
What I wasn't thinking about that with James Wood. That was I used to like that one. That's definitely not in my top 10 though. It's not as far as vampires. Definitely not. The series, yeah, but the movie, no, Tony, not at all.
Wait, what series?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's saying the movie. I'm saying the series though. The
The
series is
move,
way movie.
the series is better than the movie, but the movie is good too. Because you don't get the series in terms of what they did, right? With Joss Whedon, like what he did with that without the movie. So that's why I like the movie.
I think
Bruh,
the movie just extra
Buffy,
cheesy for me, and that's probably why I don't
guilty
like it like that. It will take
pleasure.
the
I
series
will
cheesy
watch
at this
this
time, Steve.
movie.
Right.
I will
I'm,
watch
I mean,
this movie over and over and over, and I got it's
I'm,
nostalgia for me.
I mean, to be
Are you
fair,
talking
if
about
you want to talk,
Yes, I'm talking about Buffy. Yes, I watched
see,
it.
see, but that's what I'm saying. Though. Like, if you want super dark, compelling storytelling, then you watch Angel, the spinoff. That's what you get with that. If you want the cheesy, more lightheartedness, you watch Buffy.
I think they both kind of was on that same parallel outside of Angel's son trying to kill him, and then they doing that
No,
whole.
no, no. The storytelling in
But
Angel
yes,
is infinitely darker than anything that Buffy did. Anything. It's not even comparable.
what's going
Like,
on, Spoiler King? You said you coming through.
cause,
What up?
because even if you look at like why Angel is doing what he's doing compared to Buffy, like just Angel's reason alone for going to Los Angeles is already more compelling. But then once you get to see all the stuff that happens to Angel, there is no
Hold
hope
up.
in his show.
What about
Mm.
Faith? She started murdering niggas on Buffy, and then went over to Angel and kind of got redeemed.
She
That shit
started
got dark.
murdering people. Well, murdering people on Buffy is a thing because obviously they're villains, but we're talking about the complexities of the ins and outs that they do on Angel is way more compelling than Buffy. Like even when there's like darker moments in Buffy, what they do is they interject the family elements into it, as to where with Angel, there's no hope in his stuff. Like that character always gets screwed over, and every single challenge that he has to face is harder than the last one.
But
It's
wasn't he a
crazy.
demon?
That's
Well,
true.
I mean, Angelus was evil, but then he got cursed by gypsies, right? And then he wanted to leave Buffy to figure himself out because he was conflicted with all the murders that he did over the hundreds of years that he was Angelus, which is by far the most dangerous being in that entire universe, as said by all the Watchers time and time again. Like, if you're in that universe, the worst thing that you can come across is Angelus. But then, when he got cursed by the gypsies, he became Angel, and every second of every day, he feels all the pain and suffering of all of his victims. Like, just that little detail alone is infinitely more compelling, and that character has to struggle every second to carry the weight of all that. That's insane. Like, I'm surprised that he didn't off himself when you hear a
That's
detail like that.
damn.
I got interested in that when they did the whole thing with them having to bring Angelus back versus the Beast or whatever.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, I
beast
like
was
that
a
scene.
savage.
Sam was dope.
Yeah, the beast was a savage. I was like, what the hell, man? Yeah, no, Angel is
That's what
built
I'm saying,
different.
Spoiler Kings. That's why I kind
It's
of think
true,
I
but I like
would
the
lean
camp.
more towards Buffy than Angel.
I like the camp. That
Yes.
shit is
I like it too, because without Buffy, we don't have Angel. But it's just for someone like me that likes more the darker, serious, more compelling stuff. Angel wins that all day, every day. Like, for any episode that you could bring out of Buffy, there's like 10 plus of those in Angel. And remember, at the end of Buffy, she didn't stop her own apocalypse. It was Spike that did that, which is considered to be the second worst vampire in history next to Angelus. So we got to keep that in mind, that without Spike, the entire world would have been destroyed, because
He had his
Buffy and the
redemption arc too.
Slayers, right, he did have his redemption arc at the end, but remember, if you remove him from the equation, Buffy would have died. Spike is the only reason why Buffy survived. In Angel's series,
He did die.
he is considered, well, they brought him back in Angel season 5, but he was dead at that point. So yeah, but in that situation, it was like, okay,
No,
the
I'm saying
Spike
Buffy
character.
died.
No, I'm
He
talking
was
about.
pissed
Remember
when
when
they brought
she?
Buffy
No, but remember at the end in the final episode when she got out of that because Spike used that special amulet to stop the vampires that were coming out of the portal, which allowed her to escape from Sunnydale by running on the rooftops, only to flee in that bus with her family and friends. It was because of Spike's sacrifice that allowed Buffy to do that. In the case of Angel, Nadia, like, Angel is the chosen one of that entire universe. He is the one that is supposed to stop the ultimate apocalypse, which is grander than anything that Buffy had to face in her own finale, that she didn't even win on her own.
I feel like she always needed other people.
Right. But this coming from all love. I love both of them shows. I'm just trying to be real about the complexities and the craziness of what you would get in relation to both of them.
Yeah, I just appreciate the movie for what it is.
Me too. The
and
movie was
then
cool.
it
Yeah.
brought up, and I'm glad that they didn't give up on the series because of people not really liking the movie. But I like the movie. It's campy,
Well,
it's stupid, it's
but the
silly.
series popped off though when it came out because of
Yeah,
that it was different from the movie. Like, they took the aspects of the movie that humans liked and did away with the aspects that they didn't like, and that's how that show was able to pop off.
I like your list, Amanda Jackson. Nadia, what was your top two?
Blade, and then 30 Days a Night.
Okay. All right, T Virus, what's your top five?
All right, so my number 5 is Interview with the Vampire. The just the whole aspect of the 18th century vampire Louis DuPont Dulac. That's a cool name. You know what I mean? I never forgot that name when I heard it for the first time, right? And then just him telling his amazing story of being a vampire, right? In which, he meets Lestat,
Yep.
played by Tom Cruise, right? So, like, I was like, this is really cool, because I was always thinking to myself, what would it be like to meet a vampire, right? So that movie kind of answered that age old question for me, and it did it well. It wasn't just about ripping out the throats and this and that. It was like,
Oh
you
no.
kind of felt sorry for the vampires in a way. You
Yeah.
know that they
And
are
when
these
he explained
tormented
the
creatures.
situation when he met Antonio Banderas' character.
Right, right, yep. Hey, shout out to Antonio Banderas. He looked fly as a vampire. I was like, oh, okay, I
Yes.
see why the ladies
Yeah.
like you, Antonio. I get it. I was like, y'all, I get it. I see what's up. And of course,
Nah, I'm
uh,
not sleeping on it, Samantha Jackson. I do like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
like a
that's a cool
biopic too
movie.
of Dracula.
Right, yeah, that's a cool movie. Yeah, shout out to that one. And what's her name? The little girl Claudia, played by Kirsten Dunst. Again, one of the rare few times where we
Mm.
get to see a child as a vampire, and in a way, in certain moments, she was more savage than Louis and Lestat. Like you wouldn't think that, but she kind of had a
Especially when
tantrum on
she
her. I
first
was
turned.
like, damn. Yep. Especially when she first turned. So yeah, the movie holds up because there are so many vampire films, and a lot of them are grade A trash on a hot, smelly ass day. So when you get something like this, stands out.
Facts. What you got at number 4?
My number 4, I have John Carpenter's Vampires. With this one,
Oh, James Woods.
yeah, like with this one, I've always been a fan of John Carpenter, like his sense of style and direction when it comes to the characters that he's presents. Like I've always gravitated towards that. I'm like, this dude is cool. Anything that John Carpenter makes, I'm all over that. But it was just like, what is he gonna do with vampires? So I like the concept of Valak being this master vampire played by Thomas Ian Griffith, Terry Silver in the Karate Kid universe. Shout out to him because he's actually a martial artist. He's a badass, but he didn't get his time to shine really in the 90s and stuff, unfortunately, because there was too much competition. But he had a nice shot. But like seeing him
And we are
get to
essentially
play
dealing with
this,
Slayers too. Male Slayer.
right. Yep. And like so number one, we had Valak, right? Like to me, he's like one of the coolest vampires ever. He's like really tall and just the all black and the way his
Hey,
skin
that
looks. It was
hotel
like
scene.
that. Yeah. That hotel scene was amazing. Number one, James Woods as, the leader of the vampire slayers, I thought was cool, but I'll
Yep.
never forget how Valak just walked up. It was just like, oh, so y'all humans think y'all could just chill and have a party and stuff after slaughtering my children. And then he just stuck his hand right one of the slayers and slid it up and his body split in half. I was like, this movie is amazing
Yeah.
already. And then he just slaughtered all of them
John
like they
Carpenter
had
and
no training.
practical effects.
Right. Like they had no training. Like I want humans to understand that it's a hell of a statement to make when you have someone that from the jump you're told they know what they're doing, they're experts. For them to be treated like children is a startling effect. You can't make a bigger statement than that. And that was at the beginning of the movie, and it was just down to James Woods and the other Slayer, right? It was just down to two. And I was like, oh my God, they're not going to be able to beat Valak. And then you find out that he got this master plan to walk in the sun. I was like, Valak, you already cheating in the night, and now you want to cheat in the daytime too. This is insane. Like I love his whole plan, and then of course, member of the
You
church
see,
got
look
involved. It
look
was
what
just
Blade is doing. It's like, hell, I want to be a day walker too.
right now. Obviously, if Blade would have been in the movie, Valak would have got his shit tossed a million times over. But
Man,
because
that's
there
in the
was no
belt. Yeah.
Blade, yeah, it would have been over. Because I'm like, Blade be dealing with Marvel characters and stuff. But Valak, the whole team, and just the whole feel of that movie, I feel is very underrated when you talk about vampire films because while the story is interesting and it's kind of different, the approach to it is not as articulate as what you would get with, say, Let the Right One In, Interview with a Vampire, but it does have a coolness to it. So that's why I give it a lot of points because of that aspect. That's important to me. Cool points.
What you got at number 3?
Number 3, I have The Lost Boys. So
Oh, good one.
one must take in consideration that in 1987, you did not have a lot of horror comedies. And, directors at that time, they were told that it is impossible to make that work. You know, individuals that are fans of horror, they're going to hate it. Individuals that are fans of comedy, they're going to hate it. You cannot blend these two together. But director Joel Schumacher, he made that shit work. And not only did he make it work, but he made it cool. It was like a mixture of like, it was funny at times, and you had these crazy visuals. And Kiefer Sutherland as the head vampire is like, that has to be some of the coolest shit I didn't seen in Hollywood. Like, even though he didn't have a lot of lines, I'm like, do you know how
Black
hard it
Dagger.
is? Right. It's like, do you know how hard it is to have few lines in a movie, but when somebody thinks of that movie, you're the first thing that they think of? Like, that is insane to me. But he had that screen presence about him. Like, you kind of wanted to know more about his character. Oh, how did he get like that? How long has he been around? And, all that stuff. And
They still
just
had the mystery aspect of like trying to find out who was the main vampire.
right. That's right. Right. And then, of course, we get that reveal at some point in the film, and the experts on the vampires in his universe, they
That
were
was still a good
kids.
reveal too.
Right. The experts were kids, which I wasn't used to either, because I feel like a lot of adults, they don't give kids a lot of credit. Like, oh, you're young, you don't know anything. I have all the answers because I'm older. Okay, well, them kids, I bet you they know more about vampires than most adults. They was getting down, so I appreciate that too. So I had to rank it high for that.
And a lot of these horror movies go that direction when ain't nobody listen to no kid pretty much saying that it's a
Right,
monster out here or vampires out here
right.
until it's too late.
Yep. See, that's one of the powerful sayings that I learned as a kid. Like,
Sorry, Tony.
a true person who is wise, they are never dismissive of anyone, because you never know what somebody knows and what that person can teach you.
What you got at number one? Hold on. Did I skip your number two? Yeah, I did. What's your
Yeah,
number
yeah.
two?
Number two, I have Dracula, 1931. Bela Lugosi
Oh, damn. I
as
have not
Count
seen
Dracula.
this at all.
Okay, before I get into that, I must say, if somebody is into horror movies, to me, it is 100% a crime to not see the Universal horror films. It is a crime. Like, you have to watch them. You just have to, because
And you talking about the
it
black and white
once
one,
you
right?
right, Dracula, Wolfman, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, right, all that kind of stuff. Phantom of the Opera, all that kind of stuff to me is a must watch, because when you watch those, you will see at that point all the horror films that you watched, how much shit they took from those movies. It is not even funny. And even like Wes Craven, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, Stephen King, R.L. Stein, like any of those guys you can name, they always mention those movies because they inspired multiple generations to make their own horror films. But it's just the point that back
I
then
don't know
you
about
did
Clive
not
Barker.
have, like, Clive Barker is amazing because what he did with Pinhead, right? So Clive Barker
Candyman
appreciates the
too.
classic. Yep, true. And he appreciates the classics just like all the other horror directors. You watch these documentaries, they bring them up for a reason, because back then, when you talk about the lack of CGI, which is not a fault at that time, they just didn't have the technology. You had to be good with your storytelling because that's all you had. And like, back to the point of Bela Lugosi as Count Dracula, this man had what you call screen presence. He made you believe that he was supernatural. He made you believe that he was a vampire. And he didn't have to, bite and kill and stuff. He did that, but it was like his dialogue. When you can convince somebody of a character that you're playing, you already won before you do anything else. It doesn't even matter. So when it comes to being able to terrify an audience, I feel like the old school guys did it the best, based upon the ability to come up with a story and to find someone that can convince an audience when you're lacking in other areas. You have no choice but to be compelling. So when I think of vampires, I naturally think of Bela Lugosi. Now, when you compare him to like Blade and Valak and all these other ones, a lot of humans nowadays, they probably would dismiss it, but I feel like that's unfair because they're looking at all the fight scenes and stuff like that. I'm like, that's not what Dracula was about. It was about telling a scary story about the idea of somebody being immortal and they live by feeding off of you. You're their food, right? It's just like, what the hell is that? So I took
Yep.
that in consideration of when it was made and when I was exposed to it as a kid. I never forget it. And it has to be at the top because of that.
Didn't they
Now,
make a
what you say makes sense though.
mockumentary?
I look at that the same way I look at Interview with a Vampire because that's not a bunch of action. That's just story based.
Right. What
What
you
you say,
saying,
Nadia?
Nadia?
Didn't they make a mockumentary about the making of Dracula and the dude doing method acting so well that they thought that he was a vampire? Am I making this shit up?
No, no,
No,
no, no.
this is a
They
movie.
definitely talked about that. Like there was recently, I think I want to say it was 3 to 4 seasons. It's called Eli Roth's History of Horror, right? They had all the different horror directors and they have different segments each episode. One segment they cover vampires, the next a virus and things, right? Everything you can imagine they cover. When they got to their segment of the vampires, they brought that up. But it was like this dude was so ahead of his time that it didn't make sense. And that's not just him. That's also the other actors that played the other horror monsters. Just the fact that each one of them was good as fuck. Like it's like, how did they do that? It's like because nowadays you're lucky if you get one. You're lucky if you get one memorable horror movie and performance that lasts over 50 years. Let alone if you get 8 of them. That just doesn't happen. Like you would have to sell your soul to the devil nowadays to
Yeah, that's
pull
true.
something like that off.
Hey,
Look what they
Scooby
did
Doo
to
the
the Tales from
goat.
the Hood sequels. But anyway, Tony, Scooby Doo and the Legend of Vampire.
It's a
Nah, it's
movie.
supposed to be humans anyway. We know.
All right, so
Nah.
that brings me
It's Scoob.
to
No,
What's your number one?
not in the movies. In the Scooby Doo movies, that monsters were actually real.
wait,
No,
you
They
that's
talking about
not
they
the
right.
live
actually
you
The
talking about the
bad
real.
live action
people
one?
No.
supposed to
The
be
the
no.
cartoon ones. In the cartoon ones, when they went to Zombie Island, they was really zombies.
Oh, okay, but that's an
That's
exception
right.
though, because most of the time in the show it was just like if it weren't for you
Mm,
meddling kids, and it was just like, all
Yeah,
right,
that yeah,
Exactly.
in the
What happened to
shows,
my
but
mystery?
on the
I need that.
movies,
right.
they was actually real.
That's you
Scooby
writing a
Doo
deal,
was
but
Scream
I'm just
first.
saying.
That was Scream. I
Yeah.
want to know who it is.
You know what? That might be the reason I
What
like
you got your
Scream
number
because
one?
it ain't that but a Scooby Doo movie.
Yeah.
And I would have been able to stab everybody. Would have been for you meddling teenagers or college kids.
They was see that they
Wherever
was
y'all done
high
got to
schoolers.
next. Yeah, then they
All
got to
right, so
college. Now they adults. Yeah, whatever we
now I'm going to prepare y'all. This is going to be a deep cut, but I feel like a horror movie enthusiast would definitely understand this. Now, my number one is Nosferatu, specifically the 1922 silent film of Nosferatu, and that's because
Jesus.
right, so Max Schreck, who played Count Orlok,
I'm gonna just call it Nas.
this dude, like none, it's just like the music of the movie, the atmosphere is some of the creepiest shit I've ever seen. And like no matter which horror movie they bring up nowadays, it doesn't match it. Not even close. I'm just like the fact that you don't have the dialogue, that you just have the visuals, you have the creepy music, and when Max Schreck as Count Orlok comes on screen for the first time, is so captivating. It's like the image gets seared in your mind. You're like, what the hell is that? It's insane.
Are
And
these the
like you
movies with the
think,
words or just the
yes, Right. And
Okay.
they have like the kind of like you hear like the piano and the horn and different things like for the idea of the suspense, and you're completely going a lot off of the reactions of the characters and the way that the characters move. Like the way that they interpret fear and concern is some of the best that I've seen, even from movies where you can hear them talk, right? Like there's a whole lot of, to me, like what a person can do with their body language and facial expressions, to me, which I feel are often overlooked because you have all the special effects, because you have a fight scene. You have so many things to distract you from what you should be paying attention to. So with this, it strips all those things away, and you're forced to sit with that story and really focus on what's happening. And there's a certain point where you focus so hard that when Max Shrek as Count Orlok finally shows up, you're like, holy crap. Like, I have no idea how they're going to defeat this monster. Like, I have no clue. It's just like, wow.
I feel
Like
what you're saying on it.
yeah,
I
the
looked at
execution of it is
Anthony
amazing.
what you saying as far as if you ain't even got to say dialogue and just somebody facial expression or the way they looking, think about Anthony Hamilton as Hannibal when he would do certain
Right.
expressions or whatever without even saying nothing. Then he just put that creepiness or that fear into you or the
Right.
audience member. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
and for me, I
I
use
said
certain
Anthony
words.
Hamilton. Did I say Anthony Hamilton?
You talking about Anthony Hopkins, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we knew what you were talking
I
about.
was
We
sitting
knew what
there
was up.
trying
shout
to
out to
figure out
Charlotte.
dude's last name because I was like, that ain't right. But I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, no, we knew what you were talking about. Yep, but
Yeah, Hannibal sitting behind that glass talking about what I'm from.
right.
No, my bad,
So,
Anthony Hamilton.
but the thing is like for me, when I watch horror movies, I watch them for entertainment because I don't like when I use certain words. It's meant to provide as much clarification to get my point across. It's not even about like humans agreeing with me or not. It's about them understanding my perspective. Like for me, horror movies are only entertaining. But when I saw Nosferatu for the first time, that's one of the few times where I was like, I actually feel like this is creepy. Like that doesn't happen to me. And I was just like, and it was because of the presentation. The whole point of a horror movie is not just to be entertaining, but it's to creep out and scare your audience. And when you can do that with seemingly very little, when you compare it of the stuff nowadays, it's like again, the distractions of what you have. You can get away with a lot of bad storytelling nowadays, and humans will say, "Oh my God, that's so good," because somebody's throat got split open, or "Oh my God, that's so good," because Salma Hayek has a dance scene or something like that,
I'm about to
and
go
they could
ask this.
disregard everything else. You know what I mean? So I think that the older horror films, there's a reason why all these different horror directors, they mention them. They're not really talking about modern shit. They're going way, way back, especially when you start watching these documentaries. And there's a reason for that. And because I found that out, I also wanted to know why that is. Like, why do they feel like that? I'm not going to know until I experience it myself. And when I did, whew, I did not
I
regret
ain't
that
seen
shit.
that Robert Phillips. True. Definitely interesting as far as your pick for number one. Even with number two, I would say, being that I don't know neither one of these or I have never seen either one of these, especially coming from the time they came out in. And that's definitely probably an
Right.
important factor in because I don't watch nothing in no black and white. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I don't watch a couple things in black and white. Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock. So yeah, I ain't gonna say that. But let me jump into my top five. Coming in at number five, I got 30 Days a Night. You already know, man, just the whole thing with having aggressive vampires, man. And I think this is after Twilight, probably the first two or three movies. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But either way, we had dealt with too many smooth and suave ass vampires. Like these niggas was coming in with Timberlands on, hair braided or dreads, gold teeth, fangs, or whatever. They was on some Method Man type shit for Wu-Tang. But anyway, getting these vampires that came in and said, "Nah, we ain't smooth. We gonna eat you. Like we are creatures of the night. Literally, I needed that, and I appreciated
Right.
that getting this type of film. So definitely got to put 30
Right.
Days of Night in as number 5. And I like the whole aspect of them not rushing through this. Like, no, it's gonna be dark for a month, and we're gonna ride through this, and we're gonna watch these characters and how they try to survive through 30 days of night with vampires running
Right.
around.
Right. Like we gonna take our time. We gonna kill him on Monday. We gonna get her on Tuesday. You know, they was going down the whole thing. Yeah.
But good character development too, as far as getting to know these
Hmm.
characters and watching them. I ain't gonna say create a bond because niggas started tripping. They were like, oh, I ain't trying to wait out here the whole time. I want to go do my own thing.
Right.
But yeah, definitely 30 Days of Night as far as number 5.
That is. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know. There's something that just really irritates me when humans scream. I'm just like, can you shut this human up? Like y'all ain't helping.
What else you gonna do, man, if you getting attacked? You can't do
Here's
nothing
the
with that
thing,
phone.
right? But here's the thing, right? To me, there is a difference between you're screaming because you're in pain versus say they see something at a distance and they just oh my god, like I'm just like you're not helping us deal with this situation. Shut up. Like if anything, you're gonna draw them to us because they can hear you from 2 miles away, like that kind of stuff.
I
That's
guess it's the whole
exactly how I felt about one of the characters on Wrong Turn, the first one. And I was like, "Will you just die already?" Like,
See,
ugh.
man, who you
yep.
talking about? Hold on. It was some pretty good people on there. Outside of the
That
first
one
two that
girl
was
that
getting
just
high.
sit, be quiet. This is
I
when
know who
they
you're
had to
talking about.
climb out of the tree during the fire. I was like,
She had
"Shut
to watch her
up."
boyfriend die.
So okay, look, if I guess I should
Do
add
you
on
want to
top
die?
of that.
Hell
Come on,
no.
like I guess I should add on top of that that it's not just screaming. It's also when they talk too much and you're supposed to be quiet, right? Like, oh my god, are they still
And the
there?
thing is,
Y'all hear that? Oh no, like it's just
Look, we did.
what about
We
my boy
here. We
screaming
need to
on
be
Green
here.
Inferno though? What about that?
Yeah, because
wait,
look,
wait. You said if they're in the inferno.
no
The
Green
Green
Inferno.
Inferno is a Eli Roth movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when they was chopping him up and he was screaming, I was like,
See,
"How long he gonna
He
scream?"
wasn't screaming.
but
He
that's what I'm
wasn't
saying.
screaming.
Like
He was
I can
mumbling.
give you a pass if you getting chopped up. I'm talking about like that unnecessary screaming where it's like, how is that gonna
But
help us in this
I
situation?
feel you. Exactly. How is this helping? You're not helping. Shut up.
what about my girl brother on from Dusk to Dawn when he got jumped? That's a good point because he wasn't screaming. He was just like yelling a little bit and saying, "Go ahead and kill me."
Um,
It looked like he
I
pretty
guess
good.
if you're like kill me or like what you waiting on, to me that's more of a badass kind of quality. Like you have the spine to embrace your situation. I feel like individuals like that are more useful than the running around like the chicken with the head cut off and just not being helpful. I don't like when humans are not helpful. I'm like you either help or just take yourself out because you liable to get all of us killed acting like that.
He was helpful. He was helpful. Number
Yeah,
4 for
yeah.
me, Fright Night. The whole aspect of don't believe the kid next door is a vampire living next door to me, and this is definitely one of those smooth ass vampires. Like
Hmm.
I don't believe he's a kid. Nah, this nigga ain't no vampire. He good. I'm going over there too to play a game. He more than likely had a Nintendo because it's the '80s, but maybe he didn't. He probably had something else. But anyway, we had him coming in stealing my man girl, stealing his mama, and not only that, one thing I really enjoy is the whole aspect of he handsome, but once he started to transform, nah, he's ugly. He going
See that,
vampire
and that's
mode.
the thing. You said it. Like, see,
So this is
vampires.
definitely one of those horror comedy.
Yeah, I mean, but you said it though. He's handsome. Vampires are often handsome. I mean, that's just they come with it.
Yeah, These niggas got a whole club scene where he dancing and try to basically smooth over his old girl. I was in there grooving with him too. I'm like, shit, you may as well go with him. I might go too. Man, we can go together.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that was a good
But
scene.
definitely number 4 got.
Yeah.
It was. Shout out to that '80s music.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3 from Dusk to Dawn, man. The experience with this movie, classic. Once again, I didn't see no trailers going into this. I didn't know what to expect. So I'm going to the whole aspect of two brothers robbing, then kidnapping his family. We got this whole crazy ass nigga as far as Quentin Tarantino raping and killing and doing what he doing. Like we got to get him somebody to deal with him. Then we got this tense moment with them getting to the border, not knowing if they're gonna be able to get across. And I'm like, this is the movie. Nah, this ain't the movie. We got vampires. I'm like, okay. And we ain't got just vampires. We got vicious vampires ripping people apart. We got a whole scene with a nigga playing the body as a guitar.
That was amazing. That is one of the coolest scenes in any vampire film. That right there, that was cool. But if I ever meet Quentin Tarantino, I gotta ask him like why he killed Salma Hayek. Like that's not right. I mean, yeah.
We get Quentin Tarantino too, and understanding of his foot fetish, letting pretty much Salma Hayek, and that's him. He letting it do that. That's him. That ain't no stunt double. Nothing. That's Quentin Tarantino.
Hey, I understand. I'm not even into feet like that, and I would have been like, "Hey, we messed up. Can we do that scene again? Yeah, one more time."
But it's Salma Hayek. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't care who the hell you is. Anyway.
Wait, what happened?
Number 3 definitely got to be from Dusk to Dawn to me. Not only that, it's the fact that what you say? What'd you say, T Virus?
Wait, say again.
My bad. I thought you said something. I said, what'd you say?
No, I was just I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, but yeah, number 3 from Dusk to Dawn. Like I said, this had a lot of good surprises. It had a lot of good surprise depths too, because once you get to the whole thing of thinking we got our main characters, most of them not gonna die, and then they kill not only the pops, the son, and the brother at the beginning. We only got 2 characters left, so I like that too. Coming in at number 2 for me, The Lost Boys. I like movies where we get built up with fights. Talking about Blade and Frost, I like the aspect of the brother having to fight the main vampire, or so we think is the main vampire. And not only that, the whole surprise element with that, because when they have the whole thing with the dinner table scene, thinking that's going to be the main vampire, but then they trying to do the whole test, and it's ended up not being him, and we like, okay, so who is it? And we thinking it's your boy Jack Bauer. Turned out it's not him. Yeah, and I like dynamic between the brothers. Him trying to tell my brother's a vampire, him flying up between his window and shit. But not only that, what's the 2 characters that work at the store? Them 2 niggas.
Oh, yeah, the kids. Hold on, let me.
The comic book dudes that work at the store.
Yeah, the ones that know everything about the vampires. Hold on a second. Let me get their names.
Yeah, when it comes to that blend of horror comedy, this is definitely one of the ones. But like I said, I was a fan at that time, being that this is the 80s, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies as far as kickboxer, blood sport. I like that whole build-up of, we're going to get a big fight at the end. And we kind of had that with this movie as far as the Lost Boys. And that was my number 2. Coming in at number 1, man, come on now. Blade. I wish I could have my boy on here as far as to the B, to the L, to the A, but we ain't doing Carmen. But anyway, we got Blade. Wesley Snipes, man. Once again, the performance of Wesley Snipes, New Jack City. He wasn't doing no action in that. Drop Zone. If you ever seen Drop Zone, he got a couple good fighting scenes in that. Of course, Passenger 57. I always bet on black. Come on now. But watching this movie, the fighting choreograph, this is before John Wick. This is before The Matrix. Watching him do what he was doing in that opening sequence, and even going past that, I couldn't believe my eyes, man. And I didn't know nothing about no Marvel comic book character and none of that. This was just watching Wesley Snipes as a vampire, but not only getting the action aspects, it was the horror aspects, the hospital scene. Them niggas was just having a conversation, and I know where he pop up out of nowhere biting nobody. And I'm like, wait a minute. And shout out to Wesley Snipes with the charisma coming in and being able to add extra little funny scenes doing the whole little what's the name thing, and even in the hospital scene, he's like, motherfucker, are y'all out of your mind shooting me? But not only that, keeping
motherfuckers,
it
you out of your
serious too,
damn
but
mind? Yep.
yeah. The chemistry between him and Wessler, who was that? Christopher, my bad, the actor playing Wessler, whatever.
Whistler, yeah.
The chemistry between him and I can't forget about my girl. I forgot her name though. The one that kind of made
the main
Blade want to save her because of the resemblance to his mama. You said who? What you say?
No, the main chick.
Philip, I seen that. Yeah. I thought
Yeah,
you was
that's what I was talking about.
Ryan Phillips. Damn. Robert.
Yeah, Edgar is one of the guys that worked at the store that you were talking about. The comic book guys?
In Lost Boys. Yeah, the Lost Boys. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Robert. But yeah, man, once again, you got a movie where we got to build up to a big fight at the end as far as Blade versus Frost. And not only that, the whole revenge aspect as far as Frost having to do something with his mama. So yeah. Definitely got to put Blade at number one as far as top 10 vampire movies for me.
You know what's interesting about that? About what you said? So in the comics, Frost is the one that bites Blade's mother, right? Eric. He's actually British in the comics. He's black, but British. Like, his mom, she was working at a brothel, and Frost showed up, and he bit her while she was pregnant with Eric. And Eric was wandering the streets, and it wasn't Whistler. It was actually this jazz musician named Jamal Afari that ends up training Blade because, he's getting jumped by some vampires, and then, Blade kind of helps him out, and then they take out the vampires together. And he tells him, hey, how about I train you to be a hunter of these creatures? So they go back to the brothel, and they do their training in the basement of the brothel. And then he sees that Eric is good with blades and knives. So that's how Blade gets his name.
See, I didn't even know Frost was actually a part of the comics. I thought that was a character they just made up as far as a villain for him in the first movie. So that's interesting in itself. I ain't never read the comics as far as Blade.
Sadly, he don't have a lot of comics. Yeah, he don't have a lot of comics, unfortunately, Blade, but yeah.
And we probably ain't gonna get no movie either no time soon the way it's looking. But I know a lot of people be saying Blade 2 is the better one out of the franchise. I think the CGI is absolutely horrendous in Blade 2 when it comes to the fighting. So I'll stick with the first Blade, being that they don't use no CGI when it comes to the fighting. It's all practical, choreographed fighting. Part 2, though, shout out to Guillermo del Toro. I know he directed Part 2. My bad if I said his name wrong.
You talking about Guillermo del Toro? But to be fair though, Nomak as a villain, man, Nomak would beat the piss out of Frost though. Let's be real though. Like,
that wasn't the issue. It was just that wasn't the issue. They took it up a notch as far as introducing us to that type of villain, but not only that, introducing us to this type of vampires and not seeing the type of vampires in a movie like that before.
Right, yeah, the way they mouths open up and stuff, I was like, dang, that's
That's it.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah. We need a versus with that. Which way would you rather go out? The vampires from Blade 2 or 30 Days a Night?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm negotiating
Yeah.
my life. I am an asset to your vampire clan. Don't kill me.
See,
I don't want
see,
to
I
deal
would
with no
like.
Magnum. I deal with the night vampires. I don't want to join no Magnum. I don't want to join no Magnum.
I don't know. They might. I don't know. They might kill me because, like, real talk. Like, I'm not the kind to like beg for my life or nothing. I would just be like, look, you either gonna kill me or turn me. Like, let's cut the bullshit. But between the two, I'd rather be with the 30 Days of Night vampires, just because I ain't trying to have my mouth open up like that, like No Mac. And they seem to be dumb as hell, and No Mac is clearly infinitely more intelligent than the cronies. So, at least with 30 Days of Night all
Exactly.
their intelligence is pretty much the same. You know what I mean? So yeah.
We all got input with 30 Days a Night. Um. All right, before we get out of here and before I read off everybody's list, because I'll let y'all know in the comments who list y'all feel like was better. Blade, classic opening single.
Amazing. Amazing.
Still to this day, 2023.
I am telling you, I am betting my life on the fact that the MCU will not come close to that. It don't matter. I'm telling you, it
Nope,
ain't gonna happen. Nope,
ain't no
ain't
way.
gonna
Yes.
happen.
And Marshawn Ali, no
Uh,
disrespect.
Like look, the
Go ahead,
acting with
Marshawn.
him, right? The acting is gonna be good with him. But I'm talking about the writing. Number one, they don't respect their characters and their own IP. They're gonna do some stupid shit. And the fight scenes are not gonna be anywhere near as brutal. I don't care how many R-rated Deadpools they gonna make. They not gonna do Blade like that. It ain't gonna happen. And what we might get is more akin to Blade Trinity, which nobody likes, versus what we got
no.
with Blade
Oh,
1 and 2. They're not going to make Blade 1 and 2. They're going to make Blade Trinity. I'm telling you. That's what we're going to get. But worse, I believe. Watch.
I don't even want to see it. Don't do it then. Don't do it. But no, Robert Phillips in the comment section. Yeah, he was right. It's the wrong I said the wrong movie. It is it's a mockumentary about the filming of Nosferatu, and he was and they thought he was a real vampire because of the method
Yeah.
acting, and yeah, it's called he was right, it's the Shadow of the Vampire.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
because when it comes to the older stuff, they always,
that's
I feel
good
like
what he
they
was bringing up.
always respecting them and mocking them too. Like, it's like both. They do both. But, the respect is there, though. They know what's up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robert Phillips. All right, we're gonna start with Nadia's list first. At number 10, you had Vampire Hunter, right?
Vampire Hunter
Make
D.
sure I had this right.
The D. Don't forget the D.
What you say?
Vampire
All
Hunter
right, matter of fact,
D.
you read off your list. Go
You're
ahead.
like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done.
No, I'm
Number 10.
you read off.
Number 10 is Vampire Hunter D. Number 9 is Interview with the Vampire. Number 8 is Blood Red Sky. Number 7 is Let the Right One In. Number 6 is Underworld. Number 5 is From Dusk Till Dawn. Number 4 is Afflicted. Number 3 is The Lost Boys. Number 2 is Blade. And number 1 is 30 Days a Night.
T Virus, read your list off.
All right, let me see. All right, I have to go off the top of my head because I ain't got this written down. Like what I say, it was Number 10, I had
Number 10 was 30 Days a Night.
30 Days of Night. Then number 9 was what? From Dusk Till Dawn. And then number
Yep.
8 was Fright Night, 1985, right?
Yep.
And then number 7, I believe, was Blade. And then number 6, Let the Right One In. And then I want to say 5, I had what? Vampires by John Carpenter. And then
Nah, you
number
had an
4.
Interview.
Oh, number five was Interview. Is that what I
Mm-hmm.
had at my number 5? Okay. And then I guess Vampires was the next
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
because then after that I had The Lost Boys, and then I had Dracula, 1931 with Bela Lugosi, and then Nosferatu, the 1922 silent film.
All right, for my number 10, I had Daybreakers. Number 9, I had Let Me In. Number 8, I had Vampire in Brooklyn. For number 7, I had Underworld. For number 6, I had Interview with a Vampire. For number 5, I had 30 Days a Night. For number 4, I had Fright Night. For number 3, I had From Dusk Till Dawn. For number 2, I had The Lost Boys. And number 1, I had Blade.
Yeah, see, we got a
Anybody in the
lot of the
comments, y'all
same
let us know
films.
who y'all feel like had the best.
Yeah,
Not in
we
the
we
same
got a lot
order.
of the same films. No, we got some that are different though, of course, but like with our list, we got some of the same films though, just in different orders.
Yeah.
Any honorable mentions before we get out of here?
Hmm.
Hold on. I had an honorable mention.
I guess I would say,
Oh no, mine was not honorable mentions. It was things I need to watch because it was some stuff I ain't seen before.
oh yeah,
What was it?
um, Chronos.
okay,
I don't know.
okay.
Stake Land. And everybody kept talking about Near Dark. They said it came out the same year as Lost Boys, so like it didn't get the promo like it.
It that okay. You know what?
These
That
are vampire
movie
movies.
is yes, yeah, Near Dark. That's actually pretty good. Like I don't know if I would say it is as good as The Lost Boys, but when you watch that, you're like, oh, it is. You're not gonna forget it when you watch it. I think it's worth your time, especially if you like The Lost Boys. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but if someone for whatever reason wasn't really vibing with The Lost Boys, they might vibe with Near Dark. Possibility.
Had to write them down. I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, there's so
All
many
right.
of them that are, yeah.
Once again, y'all can let us know in the comments if y'all heard the whole list, who y'all feel like had the better one, or let us know in the replay. We about to get up out of here. Shout out to T Virus for coming through joining me. You're more than welcome to come through join us anytime for some more top 10 list or horror movie verses or whatever before we end the Halloween season out. And I'm still gonna be
I,
doing other stuff outside of Halloween season once we get out of Halloween season.
that is amazing. Like yeah, but I thought it was gonna be a one time thing, and then y'all would have been like, man, I don't know about no T virus. We're gonna have to be the first and the last show. So I was enjoying every second because I was like, oh no, it might be my only show, and then then that's it. Then the sadness sets
Nah,
in.
you good, man. I love the way you going into details about certain things that I ain't even know about. Definitely. You good.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, thank you.
did you hear? And I apologize. I know I'm probably on a delay. I didn't want to even start it over. I don't know what was going on tonight. Little technical difficulties. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to y'all because I can tell that I got a delay going on. But once again, shout out to my co-host Nadia for coming through joining me as always. Next week we're gonna let y'all know what we're doing as far as movie verses or beats and mics or whatever. Anything else I want to add before we get out of here?
Just it was very entertaining and fun and yep, y'all are cool. Yep, that's why I was in the chat. I'm like, yep. Sometimes in life, humans can be cool. I don't like most of them, but there are a few here and there where I'm like, okay, yep. See, sometimes you like, I don't need to press the red button today. Everything gonna work out and everything gonna be fine. So, and then I figured, maybe you guys would give me a chance to come on, and you did, and I enjoyed it. I felt like we were vibing, and yep, it was fun. Yep.
Man, you more than welcome to come back on anytime. Like I said, we ain't got no issues on here outside of just respecting the panel. You can say whatever you feel like saying. I'm gonna put a discrimination.
Disclaimer.
I'm gonna put a warning thing up before we start. Yeah, disclaimer. I said discrimination. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I get it, the disclaimer, because I can definitely be a bit wild and spicy, and then humans like, what the hell did he just say? I'm like, whoa, calm down.
I be talking about stuff I be saying too. All the deal.
Really?
Yep, no, I feel like Nadia is really nice. Like, I feel like we gonna say some wild stuff before Nadia. Yep.
You ain't watch Anzo's OOC?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. Yep.
I'm kind of nice.
Yep. Cause I mean, I was on there with I've been on there a few times, and then Nadia was on there, one of them with me, and I was just like, nope. I was just trying to gauge Nadia, and I was like, yep, she probably thinking like, yeah, he ain't gonna never come on our channel. I was like, oh, damn, like,
Nah.
But once again, apologies for the technical difficulties tonight. Once again, I know I kind of got a delay going on. We're gonna see what's going on. We're gonna get some stuff straight. But outside of that, I'll let y'all know what we got coming up next week. Shout out to everybody checking out the pre-recorded content as far as Power Book 4 Force, recent episode, and Strangers Retro Review. Outside of that, Tales from the Hood versus Trick or Treat is the next horror movie versus we got as far as a horror anthology versus we doing something a little different. It's something I want to do. So I'll let y'all know we're going to do that next week. Outside of that, T-Virus, you're more than welcome to join us again. Shout out to Nadia for coming through as far as my co-host. T-Virus, what you got coming up next outside of December?
Yeah, I'm just kind of winging everything because I've been really setting up the whole year of 2024, and I'm on December 5th in terms of scheduling the different videos and posts and polls to drop. So it's literally going to be a whole year of content. So I got over 900 videos scheduled to drop right now, with more left to fill out December. And then, that's not including what I'm going to do on the spot. So I'm trying to do some real ambitious shit that I've never seen done on this platform as I'm trying to take it over next year. I'm trying to change this from YouTube to Terrence. Yep. That's what I'm trying to do.
I definitely get it, bro. Definitely. Got some things I'm trying to work on, but I ain't going to say nothing yet. I'm going to sit back, keep twiddling my fingers, put some ideas together. But anyway, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Other than that, appreciate everybody coming through, joining me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We out.
Hey.
Like.